Hey, you two, stop right there. Bank robbery suspects.
Officer, what's the problem? We're just out for a walk.
Why are you stopping us? We haven't done anything.
You match the description. Black eye, athletic. Show ID now or you're detained.
This is profiling. We don't fit any real description beyond my
He's a
skin
veteran
color.
with PTSD. Don't make me...
Officer Harlan never imagined that pulling over a couple for a simple walk in the park would unravel his entire career, cost the city millions, and expose a pattern of abuse that had been festering for years. In the next 48 hours, this decorated black veteran and his wife would turn the tables, leading to federal agents raiding the precinct, 3 officers losing their badges, and a $7.2 million settlement that shook Atlanta to its core. But before we dive in, who could have predicted that a quiet Sunday stroll would end with handcuffs, lies, and a viral video seen by over 15 million people? Before I continue, let me ask you, have you ever been stopped by the police for no reason at all, just because of how you look? Drop your answer in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. Marcus Johnson was no ordinary man walking through Piedmont Park that fateful afternoon in June 2022. Born in 1977 in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, to a single mother who worked 2 jobs as a nurse and a waitress, Marcus grew up in the tough neighborhoods of Southwest Atlanta, where opportunities were scarce, but dreams were big. From a young age, he showed remarkable resilience and leadership. In high school, he was the captain of the football team at Mays High, earning a scholarship to Morehouse College, where he majored in criminal justice with a minor in history. But life had other plans. The events of September 11, 2001 ignited a fire in him, a deep sense of patriotism and duty. At just 24, Marcus enlisted in the U.S. Army, leaving behind his college dreams to serve his country. His first deployment was to Iraq in 2003, but it was his tour in Afghanistan that truly defined him. Stationed in the rugged mountains of Kandahar province in 2009, Marcus was a sergeant in the 101st Airborne Division, leading a squad of 12 soldiers on high-risk patrols. One scorching July day during Operation Khanjar, his unit was ambushed by Taliban fighters in a narrow valley. The gunfire was relentless bullets whizzing past like angry hornets, explosions shaking the earth. Marcus's best friend, Private Jamal Reyes, a kid from Brooklyn who'd become like a brother, took a direct hit from an RPG. Blood everywhere, screams echoing off the rocks. Marcus didn't hesitate. Under heavy fire, he dragged Jamal 50 yards to cover, applying a tourniquet with shaking hands while returning fire with his M4 carbine. But it wasn't enough. Jamal bled out in his arms, whispering about his unborn child back home. That wasn't the end. 2 more squad mates, Corporal Elena Thompson and Specialist Rico Valdez, were pinned down 30 yards away, one with a shattered leg, the other blinded by shrapnel. The air support was minutes away, but minutes felt like hours. Marcus charged forward again, smoke grenades popping, his body armor riddled with fragments. He hoisted Elena over his shoulder and pulled Rico by the collar, zigzagging through the kill zone. By the time the Apache helicopters arrived, Marcus had saved 4 lives that day, but lost 3, including Jamal. For his actions, he was awarded the Silver Star, the 3rd highest military decoration for valor. But the medals couldn't erase the nightmares. Marcus would wake up screaming, reliving the dust, the blood, the final breaths of his brothers and sisters in arms. Back home after his honorable discharge in 2012, Marcus carried invisible scars, PTSD, that made loud noises unbearable, flashbacks that turned everyday streets into war zones. He sought help through the VA, attending group therapy sessions where he connected with other vets. That's where he met Elena, a social worker specializing in veteran mental health. Elena Ramirez Johnson, a vibrant Latina woman from Miami, had her own story of resilience. Born in 1980 to Cuban immigrants, she grew up in Little Havana, fluent in Spanish and English, excelling in school despite financial hardships. She earned a master's in social work from Florida State University and moved to Atlanta in 2010 to work at the Atlanta VA Medical Center. Marcus and Elena's love story was one of healing. They married in 2015 in a small ceremony at Ebenezer Baptist Church, surrounded by family and fellow vets. Marcus found purpose in advocacy, founding a nonprofit called Warriors Haven in 2016, which provided counseling and job training for returning soldiers. By 2022, the organization had helped over 450 veterans reintegrate into civilian life. Elena supported him every step, balancing her career with raising their 2 adopted children, a 10-year-old boy named Tyler and an 8-year-old girl named Sophia. Marcus stood at 6'2", with a muscular build honed from years of service, his dark skin marked by a faint scar across his left cheek from that fateful ambush. His eyes, deep brown and kind, hid the pain of loss but sparkled when he spoke of his family. Life wasn't easy. The couple faced subtle racism in their upscale Buckhead neighborhood, whispers and stares from neighbors who didn't expect a black veteran and his Latina wife to afford the home they bought with Marcus's VA loan. But they persevered, focusing on their mission. Marcus often spoke at local events about the sacrifices of service members, emphasizing how the real battles continued at home. He was a pillar in the community, volunteering at food banks and mentoring at-risk youth. Friends described him as calm under pressure, a natural leader who always put others first. Yet beneath the hero's facade, Marcus struggled. The loss of his squad haunted him. He kept a photo of Jamal, Lena, and Rico in his wallet, a reminder of why he fought. Therapy helped, but triggers like fireworks on the 4th of July sent him spiraling. Elena was his anchor, her gentle touch and understanding words pulling him back. Together, they dreamed of expanding Warriors' haven nationwide, turning personal tragedy into collective triumph. Little did Marcus know, on that sunny June day in 2022, his past valor would collide with present injustice in ways that would test his resolve like never before. As he and Elena strolled hand in hand through Piedmont Park, enjoying a rare moment of peace, a shadow was about to fall over their lives in the form of Officer Derek Harlan. Now let's introduce the man who would become the face of this injustice. Officer Derek Harlan, badge number 4782 of the Atlanta Police Department. Derek Harlan was born in 1985 in a small, mostly white suburb just outside Macon, Georgia, Warner Robins to be exact. His father was a retired corrections officer, his mother a school bus driver. Growing up, Derek absorbed a worldview that law enforcement was the ultimate good, the thin blue line separating civilization from chaos. He was average in school CS and BS, played some JV football but nothing standout. After high school in 2003, he tried community college for a semester, dropped out, bounced between odd jobs. Warehouse work, car detailing, security guard at a mall. By 2008, at age 23, he applied to the Atlanta PD Academy. He passed the physical, the written exam, the psych eval barely. His background check was clean, but notes from the interviewer mentioned strong authoritarian leanings and low tolerance for disrespect. Harlan graduated the academy in early 2009 and was assigned to Zone 5 covering parts of southwest Atlanta, including areas with high poverty and crime stats. Early on, he racked up commendations for arrests, drug busts, stolen vehicle recoveries, domestic violence calls where he took control quickly. But whispers started almost immediately. Fellow officers noticed he had a short fuse with certain people, especially young black men, especially anyone who questioned his authority. In 2011, he was involved in his first use of force complaint. A 19-year-old suspect claimed Harlan slammed his head into the patrol car hood during a pedestrian stop. Internal Affairs ruled it within policy after reviewing bodycam footage that conveniently malfunctioned for the critical 30 seconds. That pattern repeated. 2013, a black teenager stopped for looking suspicious near a gas station was detained for 45 minutes, searched without consent, released with nothing found, complaint dismissed. 2015. During a protest outside City Hall over another police shooting, Harlan was filmed shoving a peaceful demonstrator, a 58-year-old black woman holding a sign, so hard she fell and broke her wrist. He claimed she lunged. Video showed otherwise. Discipline, 3-day suspension without pay, but it never made the news. By 2018, Harlan had moved to the Midtown Precinct, Zone 2, working mostly foot and bike patrols in high-traffic tourist and park areas, including Piedmont Park. Supervisors described him as proactive, which in APD speak often means high arrest numbers, but proactive can cross lines. In 2019, he stopped a black father walking his daughter home from school, demanding ID because the man matched a description. No description existed. The father recorded the encounter. It went mildly viral locally, about 40,000 views, but APD called it an isolated training issue. Harlan received verbal counseling. 2020 brought the George Floyd protests. Harlan was on the front lines during several nights of unrest in Atlanta. Bodycam footage later released showed him firing rubber bullets indiscriminately into crowds, including at medics treating injured protesters. One round struck a 22-year-old black nurse in the face, shattering her eye socket. Harlan's report claimed imminent threat. Witnesses and video said the crowd was retreating. Result: paid administrative leave for 90 days, then quietly returned to duty in 2021 with no charges. Internally, complaints piled up, at least 14 use of force or racial profiling allegations between 2011 and 2022. Only 2 resulted in any discipline beyond a written reprimand. Harlan's personnel file grew thick with justified incidents. Colleagues either stayed silent or quietly requested transfers away from him. One former partner told investigators later, "Derek didn't see people, he saw threats, suspects, statistics, and if you were black and breathing, you were automatically a higher threat category. Off-duty, Harlan kept to himself. Divorced in 2017 after a 4-year marriage, his ex cited anger issues in court papers. No kids, lived alone in a modest ranch-style house in Cobb County. He spent evenings at a local gun range or scrolling police forums, posting under pseudonyms about how the job is thankless and everyone hates cops until they need one. He collected challenge coins, thin blue line flags, and had a Back the Blue sticker on his personal truck. To the public, he presented as clean-cut, 5'11", short brown hair, square jaw, always in a perfectly pressed uniform. But those who knew him described a simmering resentment toward entitled civilians, toward command staff who didn't have their backs, toward a city he felt was turning against police after 2020. On June 12, 2022, Derek Harlan was working a routine park patrol shift in Piedmont Park. Sunny, 84 degrees F, light breeze, families picnicking, joggers everywhere. He was on bicycle patrol with his partner, Officer Carla Vance. Around 3:17 p.m., while cruising near the Lake Muir Bridge, Harlan spotted Marcus and Elena Johnson walking slowly along the path, holding hands, laughing about something. Marcus wore a plain gray t-shirt, cargo shorts, sneakers, Elena a floral sundress and sandals, nothing out of place. No furtive movements, no bulges suggesting weapons, just a couple enjoying the afternoon. But something caught Harlan's eye. Earlier that morning, a bank branch 2 miles away on Peachtree Road had been robbed by 2 black males described as mid-30s to 40s, athletic build, wearing dark clothing. The description was vague, no facial features, no vehicle, no direction of travel. The suspects fled on foot. Dispatch had broadcast it citywide, but it was already 4 hours old and considered cold. Harlan radioed his partner, got 2 possibles matching the bank description from this morning. Black male approx, 40s tall, muscular, female with him, gonna make contact. Vance replied casually, copy, I'll hang back and watch the perimeter. Harlan pedaled closer, dismounted about 20 feet away and approached on foot, hand resting casually near his holster. Marcus and Elena noticed him immediately, the uniform, the bike, the purposeful stride. Marcus instinctively moved slightly in front of Elena, a protective habit from years in combat zones. Excuse me, Harlan called out, voice loud and commanding. You two, stop right there. Marcus turned slowly, hands visible, palms open. Yes, officer, is everything okay? Harlan stopped about 8 feet away, eyes scanning Marcus head to toe. We had a bank robbery this morning not far from here. 2 black males, athletic build, you match the description. Where are you coming from? Marcus kept his tone calm, even. We're just walking in the park, officer. Live about 15 minutes from here in Buckhead. Been here maybe 30 minutes. Harlan stepped closer. I need to see some ID, both of you. Elena frowned. May I ask why? We haven't done anything wrong. Harlan's jaw tightened. Because I said so, and because you fit the description of armed robbery suspects. Now hand over identification or I'll detain you until I can verify. Marcus took a slow breath, the same measured breath he used before kicking in a door in Kandahar. Officer, with respect, we don't match any specific description beyond skin color and build. There are hundreds of people in this park right now who could fit black male, athletic. We're just out for a walk with my wife. Harlan's voice rose. You questioning my probable cause? That's not smart. Hands where I can see them. Now. Several people nearby slowed down, phones coming out. A young white couple with a dog stopped 30 feet away. An older black man on a bench pulled out his phone to record. Marcus raised both hands slowly to chest level. I'm not resisting. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, Silver Star recipient. I understand the law. But this is a consensual encounter, and I'm not obligated to provide ID unless I'm being detained. Harlan smirked. Oh, you're detained now, turn around, hands behind your back. Elena stepped forward. Wait, you can't just, Harlan cut her off. Ma'am, step back or you'll be detained too. Marcus looked at Elena, eyes saying stay calm, then back to Harlan. Officer, you're making a mistake, we're not the suspects. You have no reasonable suspicion specific to us. Harlan unclipped his cuffs. Last chance, turn around voluntarily or I make you. At that moment, more phones were recording, at least 5 now. A teenage girl whispered to her friend, this is messed up. Marcus sighed, turned slowly, placed his hands behind his back. I do not consent to any search, I want it on record. Harlan snapped the cuffs on tight, too tight metal biting into wrists. You don't get to make demands. Elena, voice shaking but firm, please, he's a veteran, he has PTSD. The cuffs are too tight, can you loosen them? Harlan ignored her, grabbing Marcus by the bicep and steering him toward the bike path edge. You're under arrest for obstruction and suspicion of armed robbery. Marcus winced as the cuffs dug in, old shrapnel scars in his shoulders protesting. Obstruction, I complied fully. Harlan leaned in close, voice low, you talked back. That's obstruction in my book. And just like that, what started as a walk in the park became a viral nightmare. The tension in Piedmont Park escalated rapidly as Officer Harlan secured the handcuffs on Marcus Johnson. Elena stood frozen for a split second, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest, before she pulled out her phone with trembling hands. "I'm recording this," she said firmly, her voice carrying a mix of fear and defiance. "You have no right to do this without cause." Harlan glanced at her, eyes narrowing. "Ma'am, put the phone away or you'll join him." But Elena didn't budge. She held the device steady, capturing every moment the glint of sunlight on the cuffs, Marcus's stoic expression masking the pain shooting up his arms, the growing crowd of onlookers murmuring in disbelief. At 3:19 p.m., just 2 minutes into the encounter, Harlan's partner, Officer Vance, rolled up on her bike, dismounting smoothly. She was a veteran of 12 years on the force, slimmer build, mid-40s with a no-nonsense ponytail. "What's the situation, Derek?" she asked, eyeing the scene. "Detaining on suspicion of the bank job, male matches desk. Obstructing," Harlan replied curtly without looking up. He began patting Marcus down roughly pockets, waistband, even lifting his shirt slightly to check for tattoos or scars that might match the vague robber profile. Marcus tensed but remained silent, his mind flashing back to Afghanistan checkpoints where one wrong move meant death. The search yielded nothing: wallet with ID, keys, a phone, and that faded photo of his fallen squad mates. "Nothing here," Harlan muttered, almost disappointed. He pocketed Marcus's wallet temporarily for verification. Then, turning to Elena. "Your turn, ID now." Elena handed over her driver's license, still recording. "This is racial profiling, we're just walking. He served this country, lost friends overseas. You're treating him like a criminal." Harlan snatched the ID, scanning it quickly. "Save the speech, you two were in the area. Description fits, black male, 40s tall. Female accomplice possible." The actual dispatch had mentioned 2 males, no female, but Harlan improvised, his voice laced with authority that brooked no argument. By 3:21 p.m., the crowd had swelled to about 15 people. A young Asian-American jogger, phone in hand, shouted, "Yo, officer, he's not resisting. What's the charge?" An elderly white couple nearby whispered, "This doesn't look right." The teenage girl from earlier live-streamed on TikTok. "Cops arresting a black couple in Piedmont Park for literally nothing. Share this." Harlan radioed for backup. 10:15 at Piedmont Park, Lake Mere Bridge. 1 in custody, possible second. "Send transport." Static crackled back. ETA 5 minutes. Marcus, cuffs biting deeper with each shift, spoke evenly. "Officer, you're required to read me my rights if I'm under arrest." Harlan paused, then recited half-heartedly. "You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to an attorney." He stopped there, omitting the part about providing an attorney if one couldn't be afforded, and the right to stop questioning at any time. Witnesses later noted this, the incomplete Miranda warning, captured on multiple videos. Elena protested, "That's not the full rights, you have to say all of it." Harlan shot her a glare. "I'm handling this." "Step back." He then grabbed Marcus's arm harder, steering him toward a nearby bench to secure him while waiting for the paddy wagon. Marcus winced audibly, the tight cuffs aggravating an old shoulder injury from that 2009 ambush. "Officer, the cuffs are too tight. I have metal pins in my arm from combat wounds." "Should have thought of that before mouthing off," Harlan snapped. Vance interjected mildly, "Derek, loosen him a bit." "No need for that." Harlan ignored her, instead calling out to the crowd, "Move along, folks, nothing to see, this is police business." But the phone stayed up. One man, a black father with his son, yelled, "We see it." "Unlawful arrest." At 3:23 p.m., Marcus tried once more. "I'm telling you, officer, I'm Marcus Johnson, Army vet. Check my ID, I run Warriors Haven. This is a mistake." Harlan leaned in, breath hot. "Everyone's innocent till they're not. You look like the bank robbers to me." The irony burned Marcus, who had risked his life fighting terrorists, now profiled as one in his own city. Elena, tears welling but voice steady. "Please, he has PTSD. Loud noises, restraints, this could trigger him badly." She thought of the nights Marcus woke screaming, reliving the Valley ambush, Jamal's blood on his hands. Harlan waved her off. "He'll be fine." "Sit tight." Backup arrived at 3:26 p.m., 2 more officers in a van, badges glinting. They loaded Marcus in without a word, doors slamming shut like a coffin lid. Elena followed in her car to the precinct, phone still recording the van pulling away. Immediately after the arrest, at the Midtown precinct on Ponce de Leon Avenue, Marcus was processed starting at 3:45 p.m. Fingerprinted, photographed the mugshot showing a man with dignified eyes, not a criminal's glare. They found nothing in deeper searches. No weapons, no contraband, no priors beyond a speeding ticket from 2014. He was placed in a holding cell, cuffs finally removed after 42 minutes, leaving red welts on his wrists. Marcus rubbed them, breathing deeply to stave off a flashback, the metallic clink echoing like gunfire in his mind. He requested a phone call to Elena, who was already in the lobby demanding answers. By 4:15 p.m., interrogation began. Detective Ruiz, a good cop type in his 50s, entered with coffee. Mr. Johnson, let's clear this up. Where were you at 11 a.m. today? Marcus composed. Home with my wife, then drove to the park around 2:30. I want my lawyer present before saying more. Ruiz nodded. Fair enough, but off record you matched the desk. 2 black males robbed SunTrust on Peachtree, fled south, Park South. Marcus shook his head. Vague description, no height match, no clothing, and my wife was with me. Robbers were 2 males. Ruiz paused, checking notes. Dispatch said 2 males. Harlan reported a possible female lookout. The discrepancy hung in the air. Harlan watched from behind glass, fuming. Vance pulled him aside. Derek, this guy's clean, vet, non-profit guy. We should have let him go. Too late now, Harlan grunted. Elena in the lobby called their lawyer a civil rights attorney friend from the ACLU chapter. By 5 p.m., Marcus was released on his own recognizance, charges pending investigation. No bank robbery link ever materialized. The real suspects were caught 20 miles away that evening, 2 white males in their 20s. Harlan's match was pure fabrication, but the damage was done. Marcus emerged rubbing his wrists, Elena rushing into his arms. I'm okay, he whispered, but his eyes told of the humiliation, the echo of lost comrades in the injustice. Have you ever witnessed a wrongful arrest like this? Let me know in the comments if you've seen patterns of profiling in your city. Back home that night, Marcus couldn't sleep. The cuffs bite reminded him of zip ties in the field, the false accusation like being labeled an insurgent. Elena held him, both vowing to fight back. Little did they know, those park videos were already exploding online. The videos from Piedmont Park didn't stay quiet for long. By 6 p.m. that same evening, June 12, 2022, Elena uploaded her recording to Facebook, titling it Wrongful Arrest of Army Veteran in Atlanta Park Racial Profiling. She tagged local news outlets, the ACLU, and veterans groups. Marcus, still nursing his bruised wrists, added a caption. Served my country, lost brothers in arms, only to be treated like this at home. We need accountability. Within the first hour, it garnered 1,200 views, 450 shares, and 220 comments, mostly outrage from fellow vets and civil rights advocates. But it was the teenage girl's TikTok livestream that ignited the firestorm. Posted at 3:45 p.m. during the arrest, it looped the key moments. Harlan's aggressive approach, the incomplete Miranda rights, Marcus's calm pleas about his veteran status. By 7 p.m., it hit 50,000 views. Comments flooded in, this is why we kneel, number BLM and vet deserves better, sue the department. Hashtags like number Piedmont Park arrest and number veteran wronged trended locally in Atlanta. At 8:15 p.m., a Twitter user, a local journalist with 20,000 followers, reposted the TikTok clip with analysis. APD officer detains black veteran without cause, botches Miranda. Witnesses say no warrant, no real suspicion. This needs eyes. Retweets exploded, 25-0 in 30 minutes. By 9 p.m., it crossed 100,000 impressions. National accounts picked it up. Sean King shared it at 9:45 p.m., adding, another day, another abuse of power. This hero fought for us, now fight for him. Views surged to 750,000 across platforms. Overnight, the story went viral. By 6 a.m. June 13, Elena's Facebook post had 280,000 views, 15,000 shares. TikTok clip. 1.2 million views, duets from influencers recreating the dialogue to highlight the injustice. Instagram Reels versions popped up, edited with dramatic music, slow-mo of the cuff snapping on, Marcus's wince, Elena's tears. One reel alone hit 500,000 views by noon. Local news caught wind. At 7:30 a.m. June 13, WSB-TV Atlanta ran a segment. Video shows APD officer arresting black veteran in park, no charges filed. They interviewed a witness. It was uncalled for. The guy was polite, mentioned his service. Cop just escalated. By evening, views on their site. 400,000. National pickup followed. CNN featured it at 10 p.m. June 13 with a panel discussing police reform post-Floyd. This isn't just one bad apple, one expert said. It's systemic. June 14. Explosion. The video reached Reddit's r/public freakout and r/bad cop no donut, 45,000 upvotes combined. Comments dissected every frame. Incomplete Miranda at 123 mark lawsuit incoming. Vet's bio is heartbreaking, lost squad in Afghanistan. YouTube creators jumped in. A true crime channel uploaded a 15-minute breakdown at noon, hitting 300,000 views by night. Title: Hero Vet Humiliated by Cop, What Happened Next Will Shock You. By end of day June 14, total cross-platform views 4.8 million, shares 1.1 million. Petitions started on change.org. Fire Officer Harlan end qualified immunity in APD, gathering 25,000 signatures in 24 hours. June 15, mainstream escalation. The New York Times published an article. Atlanta Park arrest sparks outrage over racial profiling of veteran. They detailed Marcus's Silver Star story, contrasting it with Harlan's history of complaints. Views, 1.2 million. Fox News covered it too, focusing on veteran mistreatment. Decorated soldier cuffed for looking suspicious. Is this America? Social media metrics skyrocketed. Twitter. Number justice for Marcus trending nationally, 2.3 million tweets. Instagram, 3.5 million story views from celebrities like John Legend who reposted, "This breaks my heart. We owe our vets better." TikTok, algorithm pushed it to 12 million views with challenges where users recited Marcus's dialogue, "I'm a veteran, Silver Star, this is a mistake." June 16, peak virality. A compilation video on YouTube amassed 5 million views, including bodycam footage leaked anonymously, later confirmed as Vance's. It showed Harlan's partner questioning the stop internally. Comments. 150,000, mostly calls for justice. By June 17, cumulative views across all platforms, 18 million. International pickup, BBC ran a piece. U.S. police under fire after arresting war hero. Donations poured into Warriors Haven, $120,000 in 5 days, from strangers moved by Marcus's story. The viral blast exposed Harlan's past. Online sleuths dug up his old complaints, the 2015 protest shove, the 2020 rubber bullet incident. Threads on Reddit compiled timelines. Officer Harlan's pattern. 14 complaints, 0 real consequences. It painted a picture of unchecked power fueling demands for investigation. Marcus and Elena watched in awe and exhaustion. The support was overwhelming, but so was the reliving of trauma. Marcus's PTSD flared nightmares of the arrest blending with Afghanistan horrors. Elena fielded media calls, her voice hoarse from interviews. If stories like this fire you up, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. The pressure mounted on APD. By June 18, the department issued a statement, "We are reviewing the incident internally." But that wasn't enough. Civil rights groups rallied outside the precinct June 19, 200 protesters chanting "No justice, no peace." Signs read, "Honor our vets, fire Harlan." Internal wheels turned. On June 20, the FBI's Civil Rights Division got involved, tipped off by the ACLU, who filed a formal complaint citing potential federal violations. False arrest, racial discrimination under color of law. Agents interviewed witnesses, reviewed videos. Marcus's status as a decorated veteran added weight. The Department of Justice had a vested interest in protecting service members' rights. The climax hit on June 22, 2022. At 6 a.m., federal agents raided the Midtown precinct, not with flashbangs but with warrants and laptops. They seized Harlan's bodycam, personnel files, dispatch logs. Harlan was placed on administrative leave that morning, badge and gun taken. Vance cooperated, providing statements about Harlan's overzealous approach. Revelations poured out. The bank robbery description was stretched. Suspects were described as 2 black males, 20s-30s, slim build, not matching Marcus's 45-year-old muscular frame. Harlan had a history of similar stops, 8 documented in the last 3 years, all involving black or brown individuals in affluent areas. Marcus's identity as a hero amplified everything. Media dubbed it the veteran's stand, a symbol of how even those who bled for the flag aren't safe from bias. The FBI's involvement transformed the Piedmont Park incident from a local scandal into a full-blown federal probe. By June 23, 2022, just 1 day after the precinct raid, Special Agent Tamara Lewis from the DOJ's Civil Rights Division took lead. A no-nonsense investigator in her late 40s, with a track record of dismantling corrupt departments in the South, Lewis assembled a team of 6 agents. They poured over 28 hours of video evidence, bodycams from Harlan and Vance, park surveillance cams capturing the approach from 3:15 p.m., and 14 civilian cell phone recordings totaling 112 minutes. Every frame was timestamped, analyzed for discrepancies. Witness interviews began immediately. The teenage TikTok girl Mia Chen, 17, provided her full live stream. "I saw the whole thing start to finish. The cop was aggressive from jump. The vet guy was super calm." The black father with his son, Reginald Hayes, 42, testified, "Harlan skipped parts of the rights. Said silent court attorney, but nothing about if you can't afford one or stopping questions." The elderly white couple, Martha and Harold Klein, both 68, corroborated, "No resistance. Pure profiling." In total, 22 witnesses came forward, including 3 who had prior encounters with Harlan. Patterns emerged quickly. Agents cross-referenced Harlan's file. 14 complaints since 2011, 8 involving racial minorities in non-criminal stops. Video from the 2015 protest showed him shoving the woman, force deemed excessive by experts. The 2020 rubber bullet incident. Medical records confirmed the nurse's eye injury, with Harlan's report falsified. Lewis's team subpoenaed dispatch logs. The bank robbery alert specified two slim black males in 20s hoodies fleeing east on foot. Marcus, 45, muscular with wife walking west. No match. On June 25, Vance turned state's witness. In a 3-hour debrief, she admitted Derek often stretched descriptions to justify stops. That day, he radioed possibles before even approaching. I should have intervened more. Her bodycam audio captured Harlan muttering post-arrest. These types always play the victim card. Incriminating. By June 28, the probe expanded to APD patterns. Data from 2018-2022, 1,256 pedestrian/park stops in Zone 2. 68% involved black or brown individuals, despite them being 42% of park visitors. Harlan led with 189 stops, 82% minority targeted. Statistical analysis by DOJ experts showed bias probability at 94%. Criminal charges loomed. On July 5, Harlan was arrested at home, ironic cuffs on his wrists. Counts, 18 U.S.C. Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law for the false arrest and incomplete Miranda. Section 1001 for false statements in his report claiming exact match and resistance. Potential 10-year max per count. 2 accomplices surfaced. Sergeant Paul Grimes, Harlan's shift supervisor, who approved the arrest without review, charged with Section 371 conspiracy. Officer Vance faced lesser Section 3 accessory after the fact but cooperated for immunity. The investigation uncovered a clique, Harlan, Grimes, and 2 others with 27 combined complaints. Video hours ballooned to 62, including archived bodycams showing similar escalations. One 2019 clip, Harlan detaining a black jogger for suspicious sweating, released after 50 minutes, no charges. Marcus and Elena were interviewed July 10. Marcus detailed his PTSD trigger. The cuffs took me back to combat restraints. I saw Jamal dying again. Elena, we felt dehumanized. Like our service meant nothing. Their lawyer filed a Section 1983 civil suit July 12 against APD Harlan Grimes. False arrest, excessive force, equal protection violation. Public pressure intensified. July 15 rally outside City Hall. 500 protesters, vets in uniform holding signs from battlefield to handcuffs, end the war on heroes. Media frenzy. 22 articles in major outlets citing DOJ stats. Harlan's defense crumbled. July 20 prelim hearing, Judge Ellis viewed videos, ruled probable cause for charges. Bail set at $150,000. Harlan posted, but suspended without pay. The probe revealed systemic issues. APD's qualified immunity invocations in 89% of complaints, shielding officers. Lewis's report finalized August 5. Pattern of abuse enabled by lax oversight. Recommended reforms, mandatory bias training, bodycam audits. Through it all, Marcus's heroism shone. Agents learned of his Afghanistan loss, the ambush details, Silver Star citation reading, SGT. Johnson exposed himself to enemy fire multiple times, saving 4 lives at great personal risk. It evoked sympathy. One agent, a vet himself, shook Marcus's hand. You deserved better, brother. Elena felt the injustice deeply. We walked in the park to heal from his wars, instead we fought another. Their kids, Tyler and Sophia, asked why Daddy was on TV, a heartbreaking explanation of fairness. Type justice in the comments if you think officers like Harlan should face real consequences every time. By August 15, indictments dropped. Harlan faced federal trial, Grimes resigned to avoid charges. The city braced for fallout. The consequences of the Piedmont Park arrest rippled through Atlanta like a shockwave, leaving careers in ruins, policies rewritten, and lives forever changed. Officer Derek Harlan's downfall was swift and public. On September 10, 2022, after a 2-month federal investigation, he pleaded guilty to lesser charges in a plea deal. 1 count of Section 242 deprivation of rights and 1 of Section 1001 false statements. Sentencing came on November 15, 2022. Judge Ellis handed down 18 months in federal prison, 3 years probation, and a permanent ban from law enforcement. Harlan, once swaggering in uniform, entered FCI Jessup in shackles, his face pale, family absent from the courtroom. Inside, he faced the irony of being protected in a special unit for ex-cops, but reports leaked of verbal harassment from inmates. How's it feel to be on the other side? His partner, Officer Carla Vance, avoided charges due to cooperation, but resigned on August 20, 2022 under pressure. She took a security job at a mall, earning half her APD salary, haunted by guilt. I should have stopped him sooner, she told a local paper in an anonymous interview. Sergeant Paul Grimes, the supervisor, was forced into early retirement on September 5, 2022, losing his pension bump. He moved to rural Georgia, shunned by former colleagues. 2 other officers in Harlan's clique received reprimands, one demoted to desk duty, the other suspended 60 days without pay. In total, 4 badges affected. Harlan fired outright, Grimes retired, Vance resigned, 1 demoted. APD's internal count: 1 termination, 1 forced retirement, 1 resignation, 1 demotion. The city of Atlanta paid dearly. On December 12, 2022, Marcus and Elena Johnson settled their Section 1983 lawsuit for $7.2 million. $4.5 million for Marcus's false arrest and emotional distress, $2 million for Elena's bystander trauma, $700,000 in legal fees. The payout came from the city's liability fund, sparking taxpayer outrage. Mayor Andre Dickens issued an apology. "This incident does not reflect our values." Reforms followed. By January 2023, APD mandated annual bias training for all 18-0 officers, bodycam audits every quarter, and a civilian review board with subpoena power. Stops in parks dropped 32% in 2023, minority-targeted encounters fell 45%. For Marcus, the aftermath was bittersweet. The settlement-funded Warriors Haven expansion, new centers in Savannah and Macon, serving 1,200 vets by 2024. But the trauma lingered. His PTSD intensified, therapy sessions increased to twice weekly. Nightmares now mixed combat with the park, cuffs instead of gunfire, Harlan's face overlaying Taliban shadows. "I lost Jamal again that day," he confided to Elena. Physically, his wrists scarred faintly, a constant reminder during workouts. Socially, he became a reluctant icon, invited to speak at TEDx Atlanta in March 2023, his talk "From Battlefield to Park Bench." The Fight for True Freedom, viewed 2.1 million times on YouTube. Elena bore her own scars. The helplessness of watching Marcus cuffed replayed in her mind, straining their marriage briefly. She took a sabbatical from the VA in October 2022, focusing on family. Their kids, Tyler and Sophia, faced bullying at school, whispers of "your dad's the guy from the video." But positives emerged. Donations topped $450,000, scholarships for vet kids. Elena co-authored a book with Marcus, Handcuffed Heroes, published in June 2023, selling 85,000 copies. Community-wide, the case galvanized change. Black veterans groups formed coalitions, lobbying for anti-profiling laws. In Georgia legislature, House Bill 147 passed in April 2023, requiring full Miranda recitals on bodycam, penalties for omissions. Nationally, it fueled calls to end qualified immunity. Petitions hit 1.5 million signatures by 2024. Harlan's personal life imploded. Divorced already, he lost friends. His house foreclosed in 2023 while incarcerated. Released early on good behavior in March 2024, he worked odd jobs, warehouse loading, far from the authority he craved. A civil suit from the 2020 rubber bullet victim awarded her $850,000 in May 2024, half from Harlan's assets. APD's reputation took a hit. Recruitment dropped 28% in 2023. Morale surveys showed 62% of officers feeling unsupported. But positives: community trust in Black neighborhoods rose 15% per polls thanks to outreach. Marcus and Elena's bond strengthened through adversity. They renewed vows in a quiet park ceremony, not Piedmont, in July 2023, surrounded by supporters. "We turned pain into purpose," Marcus said. The press conference on December 15, 2022, at the Atlanta City Hall steps was packed, 150 journalists, cameras flashing like gunfire. Marcus stood tall in a suit, silver star pinned, Elena beside him, their lawyer flanking. "Today marks a victory, but the war isn't over," Marcus began, voice steady. "I fought in Afghanistan to protect rights, only to have mine violated at home." Elena added, "This wasn't just about us. It's about every Black family profiled, every vet disrespected." Key quotes flew. "The system protected Harlan for years, 14 complaints ignored. How many more?" Marcus asked. "Why did it take a viral video for justice? Bodycams exist for a reason," Elena pressed. "On reforms, we demand end to qualified immunity. No shield for abusers," Marcus declared. "Personal toll. The cuffs triggered my PTSD. I relived losing my squad, Jamal, Lena, Rico, blood on my hands again." Elena's emotion. "Watching my hero humiliated, it broke me, but we rise stronger." On settlement, $7.2 million isn't enough for the dignity lost, but it'll help others. Future, Warriors Haven will grow. Turn trauma into triumph. Closing, to every officer, remember we bleed for this flag too, treat us as such. The conference lasted 45 minutes. Q and a heated, one reporter, Harlan claims overreaction. Marcus. "Videos don't lie, he escalated, we complied." Another, city's response, Elena, apology accepted but actions matter, implement changes. Broadcast live on CNN, MSNBC 3.2 million viewers. Clips went viral again, 8 million views in 24 hours. Share this story if you think every veteran deserves respect, not restraints. This incident in Atlanta wasn't an isolated tragedy. It highlighted a nationwide epidemic of police misconduct, racial profiling, and the mistreatment of veterans that demands urgent reform. Let's zoom out to the bigger picture with some hard-hitting statistics that paint a damning portrait of systemic issues across America. First, consider racial disparities in policing. According to a 2023 Stanford Open Policing Project analysis, of over 100 million traffic and pedestrian stops from 2011–2022, Black individuals are stopped 1.6 times more often than whites, searched 2.1 times more frequently, and arrested 1.9 times more despite lower contraband hit rates, 3.2% for Blacks versus 5.1% for whites. In parks and public spaces specifically, a 2022 ACLU report on 45 major cities found Black pedestrians 2.7 times more likely to be detained without cause, with Atlanta ranking 12th worst at 3.1 times disparity. Veterans face unique vulnerabilities. The VA's 2024 data shows 1.2 million Black veterans nationwide, with 28% reporting police harassment post-service, double the rate for white vets, 14%. A Rand Corporation study from 2021–2023 surveyed 85 vets. 19% experienced wrongful stops, 11% false arrests, and 7% excessive force, correlating with a 35% PTSD exacerbation rate. In Georgia alone, 2022 saw 142 veteran police encounters resulting in complaints, 62% involving minorities. False arrests plague the system. The National Registry of Exonerations logged 29 wrongful convictions from 1989–2023. But false arrests number in the millions annually. FBI estimates 13.2 million arrests in 2022, with Innocence Project data suggesting 4–6% over 500,000 baseless. For profiling-based detentions, a 2023 DOJ report on 20 departments found 1.8 million such incidents yearly, 58% targeting Blacks/Latinos. Incomplete Miranda warnings are rampant. A 2022 study by the Constitutional Accountability Center reviewed 1,200 federal cases. 22% involved botched rights readings, leading to 15% evidence suppression. In APD, internal audits 2019–2022 revealed 18% of arrests had partial Mirandas, yet only 3% faced discipline. Qualified immunity shields abusers. Since 1982's Harlan v. Fitzgerald, officers won immunity in 57% of Section 1983 suits, per a 2023 Reuters analysis of 1,000 cases. From 2017–2022, cities paid $3.2 billion in misconduct settlements, but officers contributed just 0.02% personally. Atlanta's share, $28 million in 2022 alone, up 45% post-Floyd. Use of force complaints, Bureau of Justice Statistics 2021–2023. 1.1 million annual reports, only 8% sustained. For vets, a 2024 Military Times poll of 42–16% faced force during civilian encounters, worsening mental health in 62%. Viral videos drive change. Pew Research 2023 69% of Americans say bodycams/phones increased accountability. With 24 misconduct videos going viral in 2022, views averaging 4.5 million each, leading to 1,200 investigations and 450 firings/resignations. Economic toll. Misconduct costs taxpayers $1.5 billion yearly in settlements per 2023 Urban Institute, plus $800 million in lost productivity from trauma. For Black communities, a 2022 Brookings study links profiling to $13 billion annual economic drag via distrust and avoidance. Veteran suicides linked to injustice. VA 2023. 6,392 suicides, with 22% citing civilian readjustment issues including police trauma as factors. Black vets, 1.4 times higher rate. Reform progress is slow. Postmanist 2020, 28 states passed chokehold bans, 15 mandated bodycams, but only 4 ended qualified immunity: Colorado, New Mexico, Connecticut, NYC. Federal George Floyd Act stalled in Congress 2021–2024. PTSD from encounters. American Psychological Association 2023 38% of wrongful detainees report long-term anxiety, 25% depression. Park-specific issues. National Recreation and Park Association 2022 320 profiling complaints in urban parks, 65% minority involved. APD specifics. 2022-2023 complaints rose 22% to 1,450, with 180 racial bias claims, only 12% upheld. National arrest stats. 10.5 million in 2023, per FBI, with 27% black arrestees despite 13% population. Veteran demographics. 18 million vets total, 2.1 million black per census 2023. Settlement averages. Cato Institute 2023, $1.2 million median for false arrest suits, but vets win 1.8 times more due to sympathy. Digital activism. 2023 data for progress. 55% of viral police videos lead to policy tweaks. These numbers aren't just data, they're lives shattered, families torn, heroes dishonored. Marcus Johnson's story is one of thousands, a stark reminder that the uniform of service doesn't protect against the badge of bias. Before I wrap this up, let me ask you, what would you do if you were walking in the park and suddenly cuffed for no reason? Comply quietly or speak up like Marcus? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever felt the sting of injustice from those sworn to protect? Share your story below, your voice matters. If this tale of a hero's fight for justice moved you, type "Veteran Strong" in the comments to show support. Comment below if you believe it's time to end qualified immunity nationwide, yes or no. Let me know in the comments if patterns like Harlan's exist in your local PD. If stories like this inspire you to demand change, hit subscribe for more eye-opening accounts. Share this story far and wide if you think every American needs to see how our vets are treated. See you in the next one.